Hmm. Okay, I got us going live now across the board. Um, so we'll just wait for our people to come in about
Yes.
more minutes. So if you're on the call, hey Yolanda, and then I guess commercial real estate is you, Sharif. Sarah, so do you want to me to switch over screens to you during the Home Depot thing, or do you want to just go through my slides, or we'll switch over?
Yes, please. I have my own slides opened up here, ready to go.
Super. I will do so.
Mhm.
And let me see.
And the only thing, and I probably will remind you again, is to just record.
Yeah, as soon as we get you probably have to tap me at 7 o'clock.
I will. Sounds good. I'll do that.
All right, so I'm gonna share host all events. Who can share host?
I wonder if I can record being a co-host, or you probably
Yeah,
just
you should be able to. It's recording in the cloud, so you should be able to also.
Cool. All right, I'll just hit record.
So, let's see here what I want to do. Walter's better at the Zoom stuff than I am here, so. Hello, Yolanda.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thanks. We'll start right on time. I'm just trying to figure through things out here in the background. Share screen.
Oh my goodness. Ah.
Okay. So Sarah, you can see my screen now too?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, then.
So how have you been, Duncan? What's new with
Oh, I've
you?
been spending this month with my daughter, my oldest daughter, in Peru. So, yeah, it's been a tough month with all the physical activities we've been doing. I'm like, oh my God.
That's awesome. She's keeping
Yeah.
you busy.
Yeah, I leave. Well, we only have like 2 more days together after the month is done. But yeah, no, it's been fun. We've seen a lot and done a lot. And the weather's been, for the most part, pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I highly recommend Peru.
Oh,
It's about half the price of the things in the US.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Very clean, very safe. Everybody's super friendly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And what have you been up to?
Not much, just working and more working.
Awesome. So, yeah, just, when you're, also give yourself a little promo with, the friendly realtor, or investor friendly,
Yes, friendly.
as you do your bit today.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Mhm. Thank you so much for also coming in early.
Doing
yeah,
what?
I'm saying like, thank you for coming in early.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I had everything set up, properly. Like I said, Walter's a little bit better than this than I am, since he does them like every single day. So,
Yes, true. But no, you got it mastered well. Sounds-
Yeah, I was like, oh crap, I better go read some things out. You know what I want to do. So. How's been the weather in Boston this month? Pretty good.
Surprisingly has been really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, even the hot days we had were not like that bad. So, so I think the highest we got so far was like what, 80-ish kind
Oh
of.
wow, so it's been quite pleasant.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was really fine. The rest of the days, like we had days of like in the 60s. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Mm.
So hopefully the summer, is not super hot or humid and just comfortable, I hope.
Yeah, I just well, what's spent? So about 6 weeks left of summer. Then
Such
yeah.
I
Go
can never
ahead.
have enough of the summer. Huh?
What are you seeing? I mean, I'm sure I'll talk about it. What are you seeing in the housing market right now? People buying right now or
So
hesitant?
I think Duncan, this is a wonderful topic that you would mention because I think many people are watching TVs and they're like actually watching too much TV and everyone is freaking out. But in real life, what we really see is, I represent sellers and I represent buyers. So what we see is that, instead of having 40, 30, 40 offers on the same property, we're having not maybe 10 or 7.
Mhm.
But we're still saying that, 70, 100, 150,000 over the asking price. And
Oh,
by
wow.
the yeah, this is still happening, still going on. So, and by the end of the day, Duncan, like you're only looking for one buyer for that property. So
Yeah.
does it really matter if you have like 100 buyers or 2 buyers? You're only looking for one by the end of the day. So it really doesn't
Well,
matter.
I'm sure it's frustrating for the buyer. The seller's happy. But are your offers that are getting accepted, do they have any contingencies on them? Like, are they
I'm
all
still
cash?
waiting. I'm still waiving everything.
Still
Waiving
waiving everything. Yeah.
everything.
So a
Knowing
new
like
home buyer that has to have a loan is really not going to have a chance.
yes, yes. So just yesterday I submitted an offer. It was a cash offer, okay, and we waived everything and would like seller to choose closing date, and we still didn't get it. They just, they went back for highest and best. We submitted the highest and best, and they said, okay, they're gonna get back to you today at 12, and we didn't get it. It's a
Wow.
cash offer. So, and we submitted over asking. The offer was still over asking. So bottom line, Duncan, of course, like no one has a crystal ball, but what we have been seeing, you know, scarcity. There is no properties. There is no properties. You have less seller, you have a lot more buyer. Every house probably have 30, 40 buyers, but you cannot technically sell one house to 40 buyers. It has only
Do
one
you
house.
see that across the board in regards to new home buyers to upper end houses? Are your $1 million homes getting the same?
I am seeing the same aggressiveness up till maybe 1.5 million. Same aggressiveness. Okay, like people, but in 1.5 million, the people are bidding like, maybe like 200 or to 250,000 more. Because it's almost like think of it as a ratio.
Right.
So, but I feel like if you go like towards the 2 and more, there is not that much activity, but again, that's because there's not enough buyers that qualify for that tier as it is. So I still don't feel it's not a reflection really for the market per se. But
Yeah. So, it's interesting. That's pretty much what's happening in Florida. I mean, there are some markets where the prices have seen a downturn by, up to 8-10%, but they're, much smaller markets. So,
Sarah, where are you talking about?
Hmm?
In Boston.
Are you in Boston, Sarah?
Yes,
What town?
I really work all over Massachusetts, but I'm mostly in the North Shore.
North Shore. Thank you.
Where are you?
I'm in Saugus.
Okay. And what are you seeing in Saugus?
I'm not. I haven't paid attention, quite frankly.
Okay. But there is something also, Duncan, that we have been seeing. Okay. There are people that would overprice the property. Either maybe they are greedy or their sellers are greedy. Those are the ones that are doing price drops.
Right.
So
Well, that's true.
those are the
Very
ones that are doing price drops. And guess what? As soon as they price it right, they sell. They sell the next day.
So I guess my next question is, if you saw an offer that got accepted with financing, I mean, do you think these things would appraise? Would it be able to get a loan because the price is just so ridiculous?
I never really waive appraisal, Duncan, unless I'm pretty sure. And if I don't have confidence, I would tell my client, I'll say, your house should be it should appraise maximum at that number. If you're like, if this is definitely the house you want, so that means be prepared that this part, you're gonna have to come out of pocket for it. Are you cool with it? If they say yes, then we're game. But
Yeah.
I first tell them, well, look, a similar home just like down the street or next street over that, look, I have like 5 homes that are very similar to this house. And this is the maximum, this is the range. When you look to condition and everything, this is where you should be. Okay. Anything extra, you just are, as long as you're aware that anything extra is going to be like out of your pocket, that's it. Then, and so far, I really didn't have any issues with appraisers.
Yeah.
Even when I had like borderline stuff, I was still fine. It's still appraised like at the price. So, I have not really been having any issues with appraisal. Also, it really depends on the lender too. So, if you have a savvy lender, in certain situation, they can completely waive appraisal. They wouldn't even send an appraiser out. They say, okay, we're gonna give you that loan. So, but this is in very limited situation. For example, like if you're putting like a lot of money down, for example, like more than 20%, they would say, okay, well, you know what? There's not even need to have a lender be an appraiser out. So it really, by the end of the day, it really depends on how you're dealing with. So, but I honestly don't think there, for example, a buyer today called me and is like, Sarah, I heard that, if a house costs 600 today, it's going to be 300 in a year or something. I was like, no, it's not. It doesn't work like that. So you have the cost of building homes. Everything has gone up. Like there is no way in earth that an investor spent, hypothetical numbers, 100,000 on a home to sell it for 50. There is no way in earth. It's not going to happen. They'd rather sit on it and sell it than just take that big of a loss. The cost of materials already gone up.
Right. So are you seeing any? Well, first of all, let's handle comps. I mean, because the lack of properties means there's a lack of sales. How adequate are you able to do comps for pricing these properties correctly?
So I don't want to say there is lack of comps per se, because there are properties that are selling, but we are lacking inventory in terms of, I have 100 buyers, but I have only 10 homes. So there are homes, but there are not enough homes to cover all these buyers. So, so there are sales. So, and I don't need I don't like that the appraiser or the lender doesn't need to see 100 homes exactly same thing like the one, they are lending on. If you just saw him 2, 3, 4, 5 maximum, that's it, you get the loan. So it's not really, they don't have a certain number of houses and then they go far back to 6 months. So it's really easy to find a comp.
And are you seeing a lot of fix and flips right now in Boston or no?
coming in just as hot.
Just
Selling.
right?
Duncan, there's not that many buyers that willing to put some sweat equity. Everyone just wants.
Good point, Sarah. Good point. It's hard
Everyone,
work.
yeah, everyone just want to plug and play. They don't want, and when you think of it, they say, okay, well, now we're gonna have to, bid that much to win it, and then now, the repairs. You know what? We don't want it.
Mhm.
What you're gonna end up netting the same. You're gonna end up paying the same. But so eventually your labor and your materials and all the stress and all, that is just for free.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
who in their mind want to go through this for for nothing?
I get it perfectly well in that regard, because, I think most people by nature are lazy. I am too, and looking to get the biggest return on the least amount of effort. If we're honest, all of us. Some people love, I'm always, the guys like, I can fix this car. I'm like, I'd rather pay somebody than get my hands dirty and waste my time. But some people love that, and that's a special kind of animal. But I still think, again, it's work. You got to go and find those deals, and still got to make a ton of offers. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have a different topic tonight in regards to commercial. I just feel, commercial, like also multifamily it seems bigger, but you can get bigger returns for a little bit more work. And you can, again, do it anywhere, just have to have the formula. So, that's going to be the topic of tonight. But, I just, we can go over a few of these points a little bit later on, because I know people are just joining in here now. But
definitely, Duncan, you chose the very perfect topic, and the perfect speaker as well for it. And
Yeah.
that's because again, Duncan, that brings us back to the same point, is everyone needs a place to live. It doesn't matter. You could be rich, you could be poor. By the end of the day, you need a roof over your head. Yes. So if you're poor, you're gonna buy your own house. If you're poor, you're gonna rent. If you're rich, you're gonna buy your own house, right?
Mhm.
So what is that causing to happen with the market is, you're either buying a single family or you're renting. So if you cannot buy a single or an owner occupied, multifamily, you have to rent, and your only option is to pay that high price. We're seeing we're seeing a single a one bedroom for like $2,000 on average. So, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like how many people could you put in a one bedroom? Imagine if you have like a bigger family of like five, like a mom and dad and 3 little ones. You can't make it work.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this then. I mean, for somebody just starting out, looking for a home with some value that you think they could get in with financing, for a starting out family that have more of a chance to be successful, or even investors looking, to buy some inventory for rental properties or Airbnbs. What areas would you point them to?
There is not really a certain area, Duncan.
No.
Everywhere is selling, because even with COVID and the lockdown and all that, people started to move out.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, they're like, okay, well, is this area is cheaper for us? Can we move here? And then guess what? It goes really high. So there is not really a certain area that is like kind of affordable. You can, in some areas, more towards south.
Mm-hmm.
But there is not really, like the numbers is just not there from like, and I'm not talking from like 10 years ago, just from like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well, it's funny you mention that, because during COVID, New York City just took a huge dive, and inventory, just being, well, I should say people just moved out, but the city has become ridiculous now. You can't find a place at all that's, you just can't, for a normal person who works in the city, they're going to be driving a while. Anyway, it's 7:00. I want to kick off. Sarah, thanks for the background conversation on what's happening in the market. Before we sign in, welcome everybody. We have a great meeting tonight. Well, this is the Boston Real Estate Investors Association. This is our general meeting. And Sarah, thank you very much for turning on the recording, because I forgot once again, our July main evening event. We have some very exciting things going on tonight. Sarah and I, for you who have joined early, we're listening to what's going on in the Boston market in regards to single family homes and why tonight's topic is so. Oh, the host muted me. Okay, hold on. Am I unmuted now?
I was admitting someone, and then I think you admitted them. So
Okay. So again, I was just saying that this is the reasons for tonight's topic is because, as investors, we all want to make money and we have to look at different strategies to do so. So we're going to be talking about commercial real estate investing tonight with one of the gentlemen I have known for many, many years, and he'll come on at 7:30. But before we do so, we want to just go through our announcements and what Boston REIA is and going from there. So without any further ado, let me take this away. And before I start the meeting, I have to say a liability disclosure that we are an organization that is there to help investors. However, we don't have any liability or responsibility for the outcome of any real estate transaction, decision, or other action that any other Boston REIA member or visitors enter into as a result of attending any meeting, listening, or to any guest speaker, or talking to any other Boston REIA member, guest visitor, or persons. If you make a mistake in real estate, it's basically on you. So please, do your due diligence on everything you do here and everybody you do talk to. Boston REIA, we are the most active real estate investing community in New England, not only for deal flow, but for our networking and education and investor resources. We have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in regards to legislation issues and community give back programs. So we have a lot of stuff going on, and I highly recommend you look at our website to get all the latest news. We also are part of the National Real Estate Investors Association, and Boston is actually the 5th largest chapter of the National Real Estate Investor Association in the United States, which means there are large trade association discounts across the board for you as one of the benefits of being a Boston REIA member. So we'll talk about a few of those tonight just to show you why membership is valuable to you. And we also have our partners, and I'm just going to ask if there's any partners on the call. We have a lot of money partners. Guys, you should never have to worry about money with Boston REIA because we have partnered with local lenders. We have partnered with national lenders to make sure that you are in a position to have money for your deals. So if there are any right now, I invite them to raise their hand, let me know, and come on board and give a little spiel about what you're offering. So if they're not on board to raise their hand tonight and give a little spiel, they are on our website, how to contact them, and they do have special offers for all Boston REIA members. So please make sure you do that. If you're not on our, oops, I'm going too fast here. If you're not on our getting our monthly newsletter, make sure you go to our website again, and on the right hand side you'll see a little square box. Put your name into that box and your email. I know a lot of you have come from other sources such as Meetup, Eventbrite, Event Combo, Facebook, what have you. But to get all the latest information, to get on our hot list of deals we put out, special offers, etc., it comes through our email list and in our newsletter. So please make sure you subscribe to that. It is a free benefit to you. Also, our members, anybody who becomes a member tonight or has currently a member, we're having our 100 Millionaire Summit in Orlando, Florida, from October 21st through 23rd, where Walter and many others will be. Well, Walter's leading the event with Dorina, and there will be, a meeting of all sorts of millionaires. You'll be part of that. You'll be different seating arrangements, VIP tickets, normal tickets, etc. But as part of the Boston Real Estate Investors Association, you do get a ticket. So please go to our website again, read about that, RSVP. If you haven't got your ticket yet as a member, please email us at bostonreia, Boston, REIA @gmail.com, and we'll make sure you get a ticket to attend us. To attend that in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a lot of fun over those 3 days. So why membership? I'm going super fast here, but we do plan to become live again soon. It'll probably be after our October event. We're still in negotiations with the hotel, getting the days back that we want, and contracting that out. So members do get monthly attendance free. They also get free entrance to subgroup. They get discounted training programs. And there's a whole slew of other benefits, such as our Home Depot 2% cash rebate program. And Sarah's going to talk about the Home Depot program because it's more than 2% rebate. You get your discounts that. We have a members area of our website where if there's ever a form you need to do any type of deal, we have it in there for you. A lot of educational courses, etc. It includes your National RIA membership too, so you can enroll in classes with them for nominal, like $20 to get certified in certain areas. We have a actual college training program. We call it our PHP program. And it gives you a housing provider certification. That's a U.S. certification that means that you've passed a high excellency of both legal offers. Just you're a well-rounded investor when you get the certification. It is something to be very, very proud of. And you can read about that on our website also. So you get access to that as part of your membership. So, it's really makes a lot of sense to become a member, because once you learn about the money you can save versus what you learn, plus it's a tax write-off, you got to be a player and just be around like-minded people. So before I tell you more about our membership, I do want to turn to the screen over to Sarah and let her talk to you about the Home Depot benefits, because she's our Home Depot pro for us. So Sarah, let me see how I can pass that over to you.
I can take it.
Share your screen, I think, as a host.
Yep. So I think, can you see?
There you go.
Awesome. All right. Oops. It went too fast. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. In addition to all this wonderful reasons to join Boston RIA, Home Depot is really, Duncan and Kelly made sure that this is like a one-stop shop for you. And they negotiated great deals with Home Depot. So basically, if you are a flipper, if you are, a buy and hold, investor, you would absolutely need some help from Home Depot, from paint to appliances, to replacement of, floors, roofs, you name it. So we got all that covered. We're going to go over it in details. So our members, so basically, I don't work for Home Depot. The process is very simple, but I want to explain to you something. The people that go through directly to Home Depot Pro Extra, they will get discounts, but they're not going to get the same discounts that we offer here. So the Home Depot, they have their thing, and then we have on top of that our own deals that Duncan and Kelly negotiated with Home Depot. So our members receive 2% rebates biannually on any purchase and all purchases that they make, with a minimum. So the only catch is that you need to spend $5,000 to meet that minimum requirement. They have a fixed rebate period that starts from January 1st until June 30th. And then it starts, the second period starts in July 1st. So one just started right now until the end of the year. And how it works is that they send you a Home Depot gift card rebate in the mail within like 60 days from the closing of each period. So just always make sure that your mailing address with them is updated. Basically, if your rebates are like under 1,000, you get a gift card. If it's more than 1,000, you get a check. So, it's pretty decent actually. Our members also start with paint. Like, there is not a single project that you can skip paint on. You need paint in every single project at least. So and for that, Duncan and Kelly negotiated a great discount, which is you get 20% off paint right away. So normally people will need to spend $6,500 to get to that tier, gold tier. With Boston RIA, you don't have to do that. You come today, you get the 20% right away. How does it work is that at the checkout, at the pin pad, you just enter the phone number that you used to sign up with us. All right. And this is how the Home Depot system will recognize that you're a Boston RIA member, and you give you the 20% right away. Now, when you create an account with Home Depot, it allows you to add, a credit card, a PayPal account, a saving account, any payment method, and that would be your registered payment method. So if you pay with that registered method, that's when you get the 2% discount, for that 6 months period. So basically, in the case of the paint, at the checkout, you get the 20% right at the checkout, and then you get the 2% at the end of the 6 months. And the good thing about, registering card is that you can also track all of your purchases for up to 24 months. It's pretty cool for, taxes or just, so how much you spend for that project versus that project, etc. The 20% of paint are applicable only to paint, stains, and primer of a gallon or more. No quarts, no sprays, or anything under that. Also, our members, they can get up to 20% of select Hampton Bay kitchen and bath cabinets, only if you purchase 10 or more cabinets in a single transaction. And how it works is that you get % from us and 10% from Home Depot. And then those can be added to whatever other discounts that the Home Depot running at that point when you went to make your purchase. Wonderful savings. All right. Something else also that Home Depot offer to our benefits is volume pricing program or bid room. So this is very easy for any investor to achieve in a single transaction. Their requirement is that you would have a single transaction that of a larger items that's going to cost $1,500 or more, which is very easy to add up to. Just bring that list to the Pro Desk, have them prepare a code for you, and then once they do that, have them send it to the bid room. Only a matter of a few minutes comes back with any applied discounts. You have up to 15% additional discounts that you can get. And then eventually once you pay at the checkout with a registered card, then you get another 2%. The 2% gets accumulated, or gets accumulated, and then you get it as a form of a rebate or a check if it's over $1,000. The only thing that I wouldn't send through the bedroom is the paint, because you get a better deal if you don't go through the bedroom. You get 20% immediately. So, but if you have like, appliances or materials or floorings or anything, that's when I would send it to the bedroom. Duncan actually shared with us these numbers, so to really show us what Home Depot really paid in the past 6 months. Home Depot paid to our chapter members over $500,000. An average member, almost $1,600. That's alone, like in one cycle, you can eventually, it covers, you get the RIA membership covered for like, 5-6 years ahead in just one cycle. So that's alone is a great benefit. If you would like to know your membership status, or if you would like to become a member, Kelly is fantastic. She's the one that will help you, to tell you where you are and what you need to do first and next. And as soon as she signs you up, she will give me your contact information, and then I will help you set up your account. Very easy and simple process, takes about 8 minutes. And then we do it directly from the website of the Home Depot, and you're good to go. Thank you, everyone. And Duncan, I'll give you back the screen sharing. I think you're muted, Duncan.
I think I am muted too. Okay, sure. All right. So Sarah, thanks very much for that. It's awesome. And I gotta say the bid room is awesome. It's nothing to be afraid of. If you have a lot of stuff you need to buy for your own home project or any project, make a list of it and just take it to the desk, and really within, I'd say 20-30 minutes, you're going to have discounts. When we did our new kitchen, I literally saved over $20,000, from the entire cost of the kitchen. It was a high-end kitchen, but I was a very happy camper when I found out how much I was saving. And then even if you aren't buying tons of stuff, you're getting your 2% cash back along the way, which does add up. And there are some other smaller bonuses that you can get, per spend. Home Depot does reward us with other rewards every now and then. So I always know when Kelly's spending money, because I get a little like pings like, oh, you just got another reward. So the membership is well worth the cost of the Home Depot supplier by itself. You get a secret code that Sarah knows that's going to go into your Pro Extra account to get the ability to get those deeper discounts and the cash back. So like I said, our average member received about $1,500 back, which is, super. And that was just in one cycle. And there's 2 cycles a year. So we have many other things, like how do you get insurance for properties that are empty. We have a great program with Office Depot. You get everything online, deliver it for free. Everything's almost up to 50% off through that Boston RIA program. So really anything to do with real estate investing that's going to help you build your business and save you money or make you more money, we have a benefit for you. Again, this is in our, an updated one is in the members area of our website. So if you are a member and haven't logged in to download the latest membership benefit update, please do so. If you're not yet a member, please text Kelly at 864-906-4111 and she can get you set up, or you can go direct to our website and we'll get back to you within 24 hours to get that processed. And remember, you'll also get a ticket to our Orlando event included in that. So it's a good deal. So I really recommend joining the Boston RIA tonight. And it's $280 per year per single and $380 per year per couple. And there's Kelly's number once again to join. So before we start our main event, I'd like to do a have, needs, and wants section. So we do have a chat box on the side, and the chat box, you can, if you don't want to, save. If you don't want to speak up, you can type it into the chat box. And let me see, where's my chat box? I'm trying to find it here. Sarah, do you see the chat box?
Yes. So below, like if you put the mouse in just in the middle of the screen, there is participant. The chat is right next to it on the right side.
Okay. Oh, why mine won't come up here. So yeah, oh, here we go. That's why. I just see the last one. Has anybody participated in Opportunity Zone funds? There is a Opportunity Zone fund section on our website. So please take a look at that. Also on the National Real Estate website, they keep updated with what's going on also with Opportunity Zones and have a lot of good information there. So yes. So let me see. I'm just gonna go to random people and
If you want me to go first, Duncan.
Yeah, sure. Tell them about, yes, please. You're our investor friendly realtor. So let's tell them what you got.
I am. So I am investor friendly realtor. I basically licensed in all Massachusetts, and I work really where the deal is. So don't be afraid to tell me, I went as far as like Westfield and Springfield and Fall River, New Bedford, and I live in Gloucester. So I got it all covered. So it doesn't scare me how far it is. It doesn't scare me how low of an offer that you want to make. I always stick to the numbers, and they really never failed me. I don't say never failed me, but I mean, they have done right more than wrong per se. And if it doesn't fit the numbers, we're off to the next one. But I would help with on market and off market deals, running numbers and submitting strong offer, and resources as well. I have a list of fantastic people, from roofers to painters, plumbers, electricians. And I only keep on this list the people that I only had success with, because they're just simply a great reflection on me. So, but of course, I'm happy to work with whoever that you're comfortable with. So I'm going to put my information in the chat. Feel free to text me or call me. And, if you want to have any questions or you want to know what else I can do for you, please let me know. Thank you.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you. I can't say enough about the importance of having an investor-friendly realtor. There's a lot of realtors out there who won't entertain offers that are lower than what they might want to hear. There are realtors who won't go to bat for you, on different sides of the coin. Everybody should be represented by their own realtor. I know people try and save money and say, well, I'll just deal direct with the seller so they get both sides. But, a seller's realtor is really just to, get the best price for the seller. They're not going as bat for you. So, it's worth the money to get an investor-friendly realtor in there. If you're on the buyer side, it's, really not coming out of your pocket. So, Sarah, would you agree with that? The reasons why to have, somebody in your corner, and why finding a realtor is hard to find?
Definitely, hiring the wrong specialist can really eat up your profit, and you're trying to maximize that. So, it's a big investment by the end of the day. If you're buying for you to live in it, or if you're buying to flip it or to be a rental properties, you make your money on the buy. So if you buy wrong, you're not like the foundation is wrong to begin with, and it's gonna build up wrong after that. So you just want to make sure that you have the right person and you're doing the right thing. This is the fastest thing to go to your to reach your goal. Just think of it as a coach. So if you want to have the body of your dreams, you can try and do, go to the gym and try it out, but you get to your goal faster once you have a coach. Basically, that's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, well, we're at 7:30 and Sharif is due to come on, and I've known Sharif for a long time, and he's probably one of the most creative commercial real estate investors ever known. I've admired him for a long time, and knowing that he's doing stuff even out of the country. He set up a division in Puerto Rico in regards to saving on taxes and all that too. So I'm going to bring him on just shortly. I just do want to mention the chat is there to let people know what you have, you need, or want. Please, before the end of the night, you are allowed to save the chat. So it's very important that if you're putting something in there, that you put your name along with your email and your phone number, because it's just not going to pop up if, just the name that's on Zoom. So, before the end of the night, if you're still chatting away in there, please make sure you download a copy of that. For our members, I do put it in the members area. For our non-members, this is a chance for you to network and meet some of the people that we have. But without any further ado, let me just, Sharif, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Very excited to have you go on board. We have an eager crowd tonight. Commercial investing is a topic that, we really haven't spoke about in probably 2 to 3 years. Right. And I had a conversation with Sarah before we started, just, about the market in Boston, and really how difficult it is, to make money with single family homes. A lot of people are hoping for appreciation. Others are trying to get things to cash flow. I've just found that if things aren't going to cash flow well, it's not a good strategy to buy it, and you can't necessarily always account on appreciation. People say, "Oh, the market will go up 23% that year." Well, you never know. So, and commercial is an area that has less competition I think has room for a lot bigger profits and a lot more creativity to make money. And would you agree with that?
Yes, of course. I mean, both could be very profitable. It depends on the strategies. But yeah, commercial is a no-brainer really once you know what you got to do by type of property. So,
awesome.
So it's very exciting. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm going to let you take over the meeting now.
Okay.
Can you share your screen just to make sure?
Sure. Give me, share the screen. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I don't know if I can.
Hold on, let me go find you. It should be able to. I gave host to 2 people. Sarah, if you can just help me out in the background, if you find them before I do.
Host disabled participant screen.
So you're under, I see 2 Sharifs, so maybe the other one I made a host.
Yeah.
Let me just,
let's try again.
Just give me a second. Participants. Come on. Oh, okay, here we are. More. And make okay, make co-host.
All right.
Okay. You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. So let me see here. I can get my, do you see my,
let me stop my sharing. There you go. I see you now.
You see my, my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Let me see. Bear with me 1 second. Let me try again. How about now? Share. How about that?
Here we go.
Okay.
Ooh, all right.
Yes, and we go
All
right
right.
here. Okay, great. So let us get started. So my name is Sharif Medawar, and Duncan, thank you. Finally, we reconnect again. It's been a long time. So for those who don't know me, I'm a real estate fund manager. I'm an educator. I've been teaching real estate for a long, long time. And I've been actually having my own education company for 22 years. I wrote a couple books, and I'm an investor. That's what I like to do. My favorite thing is being a real estate fund manager. I created a fund that was in 2009 when the market was disastrous at the time, if you remember 2008, 2009, and got a lot of people in, and we've been doing great ever since. It's been 12 years, we've been growing. So really, it's been a nice journey. And just to give you an idea what we do with the real estate fund, in the top left corner here, these are sample properties we have. This is in San Francisco. We focus in the Bay Area, specifically in Pacific Heights. This is kind of an exclusive area. Homes, we buy them around $3-4 million. We put a couple $1 million, maybe $2-3 million. Then we sell them from $8 to $25 million. For example, this one here, the address is 2725 Broadway Street. You can Google it. You will see Mixif, my fund, which is Medawar International Group Secured Income Fund, owns it. It's called the Billionaires Row. It's only 34 homes. Across the street is Larry Ellison, the owner of what is it called? What is it called? I forgot. Oracle, yes. And then the Getty family have 3 properties on that street. On Broadway, across the street, there's another one, Vallejo Street. We own 2760. We bought this one for $9 million. We're going to put $8 million in it. It should, the exit be around 30 million. So these are very high-end exclusive. And I'll tell you the formula of these. For example, we talk about residential. We've done it in 2009, 10, 11, when the market was down. We've done it when the market went up. The formula is actually very simple for residential. Then I'll talk about commercial. We take properties where we know I don't have to go outside the envelope, meaning I don't have to actually go outside the parameters of the property because it will require a 311. 311 is an approval from the area, from the neighborhood. So I don't want approval from the neighborhood. It will get delayed maybe a couple of years. When I do within the envelope, so all the work within the property where I can dig down the basement, we dig it down 2 feet to 3 feet, we gain an entire floor. It costs me about $300 to $500 per square foot, but the exit is $2,000 to $2,500 per square foot. So if we add 2,000-3,000 square feet, we're going to be making $4 to maybe $5 million on the profit. And it's been the cookie cutter. We've done so many of these, and you can do them even on a smaller scale. And this is some of the work we do. I tour them periodically, explain to the investors, explain to the students how we do it. In the top right is for example, these are properties that I bought. These are in the historic district, Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm the largest owner of historic properties in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. You can Google me. You could see how many properties. We've got 34 historic commercial buildings from where the cruise ships arrive in Old San Juan, which is part of the US. This is US territory. I don't go offshore. I stay within the shores of the US. But where the cruise ships arrive, I realized if I take these properties where there is a lot of traffic and I actually change the tenants and bring in big national tenants like the blue building here, we brought in Sunglass Hut, and we brought in a company here called Del Sol. These are national tenants and they pay a lot, and they really transform the value of the buildings. So the one down here in the lower part is in a corner of Fortaleza Street and San Justo Street. Downstairs, I put a big national tenant called Diamond International. They're the biggest diamond dealers in the Caribbean. And upstairs, we got an approval to do 30-room hotel. I learned through the years what to do, and I've always enjoyed sharing with my students and with people what I do, because I had the opportunity to learn all this. Actually, I wrote a book called Blue Ocean Opportunities in Commercial Real Estate, meaning instead of a bloody ocean where there is competition, people killing each other, blue ocean is you creating your own opportunities where you take a property, you don't have to worry about the entire market and all what's going on. And you just find the right property in the right neighborhood and what to do with it to add value. And in residential, you're trying to find a property maybe below market, comparable sales. But in commercial, you can buy it at full market price. You can go to the brokers and I don't even need a distress sale. And I can say, I'd like to buy this property And when I buy it, I can add value to it. I can change the use. I can add square footage. I can maybe put antennas on the roof and add income. And I explained that in the book. I explained how my journey has been. Actually, I wrote one time a blog, and Steve Forbes' office called me, and I thought somebody's joking with me. And they said, hey, listen, Steve Forbes would like to put you in his book, and you can co-author the book because he likes what you wrote. He wants you to expand on it. Can you come to New York and speak in the Marriott Marquis? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll be there. Here's my email. Send me the tickets. A few minutes later, I get the tickets, and it was true. We actually have it even on the website, sharifmedawar.com, where I made the speech, and Steve Forbes was there, and we took a picture. So it's been a fun journey. It's been great. In 2003, I created a system, and we applied for a patent for it. It's called the FACT system. And you can see here, the FACT system, meaning how to find, analyze, control, time, and strategize for real estate investing. These are the steps I teach people to follow. And the office that had filed the patent was the Rubenstein law firm in San Francisco. So basically, I have been doing these live events. And when the COVID happened, we did a lot on the Zoom, and the Zoom became very successful because on the Zoom calls, we do like one call a month. It's on the second Saturday. Like on July 9th, actually, I have the call. And I just have a bunch of people that come in, and they ask questions about their deals. I show them how to structure the deals. I believe the money's in the structure. And the first thing people want to learn is what are the steps to get deals done? And that's when I talk about how to find the best deals. How do you find the best deal in the area? What is it that you're looking for? And how to find the best tenants. In commercial real estate, the building value is based on the income and who's paying it and the type of lease you have. So if you find the right property and you know what tenants will go in there, whether it's the apartment building or storage facility, etc., you want to analyze the numbers. When I talk about analyzing numbers, there are two types of numbers. The intrinsic value of a property, what are the numbers? What is the income? What will be the expenses I have to look for? And also, what is the local trend? So the extrinsic value. If you look at a hotel, for instance, I don't want to, if somebody tells me, oh, this hotel, you want to buy the hotel, I don't know what happened to the sun is moving on me, so I have to move around. Okay, so for example, a hotel, somebody can tell you, listen, this hotel is running at 85% occupancy and $250 a night. Well, that may sound good, but then when you look at the market, you find out everybody else is running at 95% occupancy, $300 a night. So you see, you got to look at the intrinsic number and the extrinsic numbers when it comes to commercial. If you find a good deal and understand the numbers, now you got to control the deal. You got to know how to negotiate it. You got to get the paperwork. It's pretty simple. There are 5 things we look for in the contracts and 5 things only. You can give me a 100-page contract. I look for 5 things. And basically, do I have a due diligence period? Do I have time to take a look at the property and change my mind and walk away without losing my money? Do I have access to the property to see if I can show it to some tenants, show it to inspectors, etc.? Do I have a small deposit now that's refundable? And if I like it after the due diligence period, I can add deposit. I don't have to put a lot of money in each deal. And these are the things we look for. Do I have certain contingencies regarding financing, etc.? And the entire process, it has to be timed properly, because if you're going to do the due diligence and you're going to get the financing, maybe you're raising capital, which is called syndications. You got to have the right timing for everything. You got to learn how to work with banks when it comes to commercial, completely different than residential. In residential, they're asking you for pre-approval letters and all this. When it comes to commercial, actually the property has to be approved, more important than you as an individual. And then we strategize to find the right management company if we're going to hold it, or to turn around, add value, maximize the profits, and turn around and flip it. So in the calls, people bring the deals, they discuss them, and it's right there. Everybody learns how I'm structuring the deals, how I made millions of dollars doing these deals. And we actually explain exactly to individuals doing the deals how to structure it and discuss the trends and all this, which makes it fun and makes it live for everybody to learn. When it comes to commercial real estate, you have all kinds of properties. I'm going to mention a few to you. I used to do trainings called the Commercial Real Estate Roundtable, where we actually put people in round tables, and each table was like apartment buildings, retail single tenant buildings, Airbnb, office facilities, medical buildings, storage facilities, land development, recreational facilities, parking garages, gas stations. And then I would have each table, step by step, the training was 3 to 4 days. And I would say, okay, now let's search for the property. Let's find the properties. And everybody would put websites and discuss what we found and why this property would be better, et cetera, and analyze them. So my favorite actually are hotels, apartment buildings, and retail, but retail is my favorite in any market. And in general, I'll tell you why specifically retail is my favorite in a second. And I have no competition in it because a lot of people don't even understand it. But why commercial real estate? Because a lot of people do residential, and I want to position it so you can understand. The income streams, like Warren Buffett says, I buy companies in the stock market for their future streams of income. Well, you're going to buy a commercial building for its future streams of income as well. The asset appreciates over time. As rent increases, as the replacement cost increases with inflation, the asset value increases. Tax benefits, you have depreciation, you have a lot of write-offs, you have accelerated depreciation. Practically all the tax benefits of the country are related to real estate, interest write-off, real estate taxes written off, expenses related to improving the properties, etc. It's actually, once you learn how to get the right management company, it's a no hassle management. You just get the right company. One time I had somebody telling me that he's winning a lot of money. I mean, we're talking over $100 million between inheritance and other things. And he said, I just can't deal with a lot of moving parts in real estate. Well, solution was simple. Buy one hotel, have Hilton or Marriott manage it for you, and you can sit for the rest of your life, enjoy the income. So getting the right management companies is the right thing. In commercial, you can have low to no liability. We have an asset protection program. We teach people how to hold these properties, and it's very hard to actually lose in getting the exposure. Believe you me, if you had liabilities with commercial, they wouldn't have their own names on the buildings. So many wealthy people put their own, the Weinstein Group. Oh, how come? How come they're not hiding under anonymous corporations? Because there are proper setups for these. You can have privacy. The leases for commercial are long-term leases, not like residential, 6 months to a year. The tenants usually write 5, 10, 15 years. We have tenants that write to 15 years, and then they want 5 option, another 5 years increase. You get bigger tenants if you have the right locations and the right properties. Your cost is lower because you can pass on a lot of expenses to the tenants, and a lot bigger returns because the multiplier is a lot higher. So if I compare it to residential, you have higher risk because you have holding costs. You have to rehab constantly. If a tenant leaves, you have to fix things. You have to pay the insurance. You have to pay the taxes. In commercial, a lot of the expenses I can pass on to the tenants. I don't know if you're aware, but when you rent to a retail tenant like a Subway or an ice cream company or any quick service restaurant, like you bring a Taco Bell, they're paying you the lease. And they're paying the property taxes, they pay the property insurance, they pay increases set in the lease. You can do that with office space as well, industrial buildings, warehouses. In residential, you have one vacancy. If you have a residential property, no cash flow, that's it, you're out. But in commercial, you can get, let's say, 30-unit storage facility, and one vacancy is 1 out of 30, so your risk is a lot lower. Hence the opportunity to work with banks. And even if your credit is not the best, you can actually get some good loans. Residential, you don't get guarantees. In commercial, you can get corporate guarantees. That means the company writes the lease and gives you a corporate guarantee. This lease is guaranteed by the corporation. I just signed the Fat Tuesdays for 2 locations. And the actual lease came in with triple net. That means net of tax, insurance, maintenance. It's a 10-year lease. They took the building as is. Well, they asked me for 3 months free rent, but that's not a problem at all. On one of the properties I was buying to get the Fat Tuesday in, I just delayed the closing by 90 days. And the other one was my building, so it was just perfectly fine. It's hard to get a property if you have bad credit with residential, but with commercial, if you have a big tenant like a Fat Tuesdays coming in and you don't have the best credit, the tenant gives you the corporate guarantee. So what ends up happening, you're able to actually get the property, get the loan, and get the tenant in. So single tenant retail, the reason it is one of my favorite type of properties is you can do the deal as is where it is. It's hassle-free, triple net, hassle-free. They come in for 10 years, they're going to pay me. They do a direct deposit right into the property. They're not sending me a check that I even have to deposit. It's a wire into the bank account. You have freedom because long-term leases, I don't have to keep doing anything. Inflation proof, there is escalation constantly. It just 3% increases. You have the corporate guarantee. These are publicly traded companies, so they're guaranteeing the lease. You have cash flow that comes in every single month. Liquidity, the banks want to give you credit lines. They want to refinance. You can easily pass it on to your kids or loved ones. If you bought the property at, let's say, $1 million and you put a big tenant, it's worth $1.6 million. Why? Because the multiplier, the value of the lease is huge with a 10-year lease and escalations. So the property becomes worth $1.6 million. You want to pass it on to your kids. Guess what? The kids inherited at 1.6. You bequeath it to them. They sell it the next day. That 600,000 profit is tax-free because of the way the probate works and the actual inheritance work. Opportunities to grow if you can do joint ventures or syndications with other people. So I want to give you a couple of case studies because if you're doing residential already, I want you to look at residential but think commercial. I'll give you an example. So I do a lot of deals in California, and I was in Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley is really between Santa Clara, California, and San Jose, California. It's a very expensive area. San Jose is the most expensive area, followed by San Francisco, etc. And I'm driving on a busy street one day, and I see this corner property, and it had a big for sale sign. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and it says open house 10 to 2 p.m. So I parked my car, walked in, and this broker was standing there with cookies and smelled really nice. And I said, well, how much for the house? This is quite a few years ago. And he said, 550,000. So it sounded like an interesting deal at 550 for a property on Scott Boulevard, which is corner with Murguia Road. It's pretty interesting property, good location. But the noise was unbelievable because the traffic, cars coming, motorcycle. So I told the guy, I said, who is going to want to buy this residential home to live in it with motorcycles and all this noise? Let's just talk. He said, sir, if you're trying to negotiate, this is the price. They're not going to budge. So I said, okay, let me make you the offer. How soon will I know? He said, then the owners are sitting in the backyard. I'm going to go talk to them right now. If you have a check and if you're serious, full price offer. So I wrote the offer, 550. He filled out I had the listing broker literally represent me. Boom, 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 fill out the information. I have a check right here. I write it to the escrow company. He walks over, they come back, they sign. I took it. I took the offer and I went to the city planning and zoning department and I asked them, if I buy this property, would you rezone it for me? Would you allow me to rezone it? Well, after a brief conversation, them looking online and all this stuff with their information, they said, yes, we can turn it from single family residential to office space commercial. And there was some what's called conditional zoning. Now, just think about it for a second. It's a busy street for residential. It's noisy. It's difficult to get people to live in it. And they're selling it at 550. If I make it commercial want the busy traffic. You can get State Farm insurance. You can put a chiropractor there. You can put a dentist office there, convert a few things. They can put a sign and the sign will say office, dental office, or whatever it is. And that busy traffic is free marketing for them. It's free advertisement. So I immediately called the actual broker and I said, listen, I'm very interested in removing the contingencies, but I want you to remove the sign that says for sale because I'm going to move with extra money forward that's non-refundable deposit and just give me a little time to close. And I put a sign, office space for lease, attorneys, dentist, chiropractor, etc. Welcome, call. And I put my phone number. I had so many people calling, it was crazy. I had even people calling me. I had a psychic lady call me even and asking me how much and how many years, etc. I said, well, you're psychic, you should know. She hung up on me. But anyway, so make a long story short, instead of renting it monthly, which would have been like maybe $2,500 a month at that time, I was able to rent it per square foot to 3 attorneys who were in a big office building and they wanted their own space. They were divorce attorneys. Imagine divorce attorneys in California, right? And the rent for the property was about $5,000 a month plus property tax, property insurance, property maintenance. We gave them 2 months free rent so they can change and get all their equipment in and all this. The property value jumped to 900,000. I was able to sell the property for a lot more. And you know, when you sell a property, an investment property, you can do 1031 exchange. You can exchange it, roll your money to a bigger and better property. So you can do that in Worcester, in Cambridge, in Essex. You can do it in so many places, New Hampshire. You got to have an eye for what could be done when it comes to commercial. But I'll give you other case studies. For example, my favorite, even now with the market changing and all this, the QSRs, the quick service restaurants. This is the fastest growing segment, and it has been so since before COVID, through COVID, and after COVID. And what happens is, imagine you find a standalone building. Now, in any place, you can drive tonight and you will see, you can drive tomorrow, you will see in your neighborhood somewhere there is a standalone building that's vacant. And maybe it has a sign that says available or something. And what's happening is probably somebody has the building and doesn't know how to get a national tenant in or any tenant in. You know, the standalone buildings like the Jack in the Box, the Starbucks coffee, etc. And what I do is I get this type of property under contract, and I work with actually many students for that, investors, and we put it under contract. And let's say they want $1 million. Let's say I want $1.1 million, we negotiate $1 million, put it under contract. We have about 45 days to 60 days, but usually 45 is what we get for a due diligence period. Well, when it's a single tenant building, I don't spend my time doing due diligence, checking the roof and this and this and this. When I get it under contract, I have a list of national tenants and I start smiling and dialing, and I call the national tenants. I call the Chick-fil-A, I call the Burger King, I call the McDonald's. I've talked to all these kind of tenants. We have over 4,500 national tenants that want to expand and grow. And you don't believe me? You can Google national tenants, QSRs, and see what's going on in the country today. Some of them are on like Checkers, like Pizza Hut, and all these guys are on a massive growth period because of what happened in COVID. They made a killing. So I call and I tell them, hi, my name is Sharif Medawar, and I have a property at 123 El Camino Real, and it's in New Hampshire, and the property is approximately 2,000 square feet. The neighboring tenant is Starbucks and McDonald's. There is this and that. Are you interested? And today they can actually check online within minutes. They will know the traffic. Okay, traffic is 25,000 cars, this. Yes, we're interested, or no, we're not interested. Many of them, you actually get a voicemail and you just leave a voicemail message, but there is a method to the madness. And if you follow that, you're able to actually identify. All you want is one good tenant. And when that tenant calls you, and let's say it's Subway, and they say, yes, we're interested in that location, they're going to actually negotiate the terms, and they do what's called a letter of intent. Letter of intent is a letter that says, we're interested in having a 10-year lease. We're going to start, let's say, at $8,500 a month, and there will be an escalation of 3%. This is a triple net lease, meaning they pay the lease, plus on top of it, the property tax, insurance, and maintenance. So they're going to be paying $100,000 a year, and that's going to go up every year. So, you know, $100,000 a year on a property in any of these locations with a corporate guarantee from somebody like Subway or any of these national tenants that are publicly traded makes the property worth 6% cap minimum. That means you take the yearly caps, 100,000 divided by 0.06, or I'll give you even an easier formula. Take the 100,000 and go times 16, and the property will be worth at least 1.6 million. So vacant, it has a value of maybe at best $1 million. But having a tenant that handed you a letter of intent that you're holding in your hand, now that same building that is under contract by you in another piece of paper at $1 million is now having a letter of intent, making it worth 1.6 million. Now, you can give me all kinds of stories and excuses. I've made millions upon millions doing this. My fund has over $160 million in assets doing this. I personally own in my own portfolio over $85 million of properties that are held by national tenants. And I'm here sitting in Los Angeles. I'll be traveling to Cancun in a few days. I'm going to be going. It's not like something that is so you have to manage every day and all this, because once you have this, you have many choices now. You can go to the bank. Let's say you have good credit and some money for a down payment. You can go to the bank and say, I have a contract to buy this property. I know it looks vacant in this contract, but I have this national tenant coming in. Here are the terms. And they'll give a corporate guarantee. the tenant will give you a loan, the bank will give you a loan, but you'll have to put a down payment. Let's say you have bad credit. You have such a bad credit that it's just like you're bankrupt. It's horrible. You can go to a hard money lender. Look, property's worth this. Now it's worth so much more because I have this tenant. They will loan you and they will ask you for what's called an assignment of rent. That means the rent is assigned to the lender until you refinance. Once you get the building with the hard money loan and you get the tenant signed in for the 10-year lease, you can go to a regular bank and say, I own the building. My credit is not the best, but I'm going to go ahead and do an assignment of lease, an assignment of deed in case of default. And what happens, even if you don't have the best credit, lenders will give loans on these because there is a corporate guarantee. They're giving the loan based on the actual tenant. That's how somebody can grow from, starting in the business to being worth millions of dollars. These are small concepts that many people don't know. Some people have no idea how to bring national tenants into buildings. They see empty buildings and start thinking, oh, the market is going to hell in a handbasket and all this drama. You don't have to worry about the entire national statistics. Just look in your own backyard, understand how to work specific strategies. The money's in the structure itself. And I'm not telling you we're looking for a distressed seller. I'm not telling you we have to go search for these lists and get leads and find somebody dying and falling apart to get them some more. No, I'm telling you a normal sale that you can find the property, put it under contract and start calling these national tenants.
Oh, yeah. I sent you a picture when I saw.
Okay, somebody's getting too excited there. Anyway, so I want to open it for questions in case anybody has a question. Anybody has a question about what I covered here so far? I'm happy to answer any questions. I love taking questions.
All right, let me take a look, Sharif. We have quite a few people in the chat. So guys, if you have any questions, just kind of put up your hand or unmute yourself. Get some. Give me a second, Sharif. Not a rock star with all this yet. All right, now I got to the attendees here. So yeah, you can see down there from Kate's B. I just tuned down some of the apartment buildings. Kate just said something here. So Kaz just said that was amazing. Now we still have more to go here, so you're going to be amazed still more. I just lost my place here. So from Dana, what would be the first step to doing a standalone retail deal?
Okay, so the first step to do a standalone deal is you got to find the property. Now, how to find the property? You can look online on commercial websites. You can actually Google commercial websites like loopnet.com, LOOPNET.com. And you can put a specific zip code or specific city, and then you can choose retail and you'll find a single tenant retail. So you're looking for these single tenant. I've had people find single tenant retails, but just driving around in their neighborhood where they're going to work or going to pick up the kids from somewhere or going somewhere, and they just keep their eyes open. Or they see a for lease sign and they call and they say, would the owner of the building be interested in selling? And then they work out the numbers. As a matter of fact, I have a program where I teach people how to do it. And then I tell them, I tell them exactly the 15 criteria I look for in a building. I give them a proof of fund. So when they talk to the broker, they have the proof of fund from my real estate fund where we have several millions at any one time. So when they call somebody and say, yeah, I know you want $1 million, but I'll offer you $1 million, they can say, I work with this fund and the fund makes a fund. And here's our proof of fund. We have the money, but our offer is $1 million. We're going to close all cash. We need 45 days and we're going to sign the contract. Well, the contract gives you an out anyway with no downside. Like there's no downside. Just you put $5,000 on $1 million building and you say, I can add to the earnest money deposit within 45 days when we remove contingencies. And that's really the first step, is to be able to get the property under contract. And when you get the property under contract, we actually give the students the whole tenant list. And if you don't want to work with me, just understand how you can do it. You can literally look in the area and say, okay, here's these national tenants, these food tenants over here, these other food tenants over here. I'm missing 10 food tenants I can call. And you can call these companies. You can call the Chick-fil-A, you can call the burger companies, you can call all these companies are expanding. You can actually Google right now QSR companies and see them all. And you could see there are thousands of them expanding. It's just the fastest growth we have ever seen in the history of fast food service in the country. Why? Because they have made a killing during COVID. There are just the concept of fast food and delivery and all what's going on right now is just one of the best concepts. And I hear people saying, oh, retail is dying. And I'm telling them, yes, it's dying. You want to sell your building? Yeah, I agree. You see, so it's like, I don't want to fight it. I just want to train a few people and say, you can do it on your own or do it with me. I'm here doing it. I'm doing it all day. And I don't argue with anybody, you know? So the first step is find the building. The second step is get it under contract, making sure the numbers make sense, like good neighborhood, standalone, preferably it has a drive-through. And then the third step will be identify what tenants would be missing here. And there are hundreds of them that could be missing in a specific area. You start calling them and telling them what you have. And all you need is one to call you back. And, you know, I even teach people how to, like on these calls that we do every Saturday, sometimes they say, okay, this is what happened. The tenant is asking me, they don't want to pay 10,000 a month, but I think 10,000 they can pay it because next door they're paying 9 and this is a better location, but I don't know what to tell them. Okay, then I start telling them how to structure the negotiation. But you can give them a couple of months extra free rent. Maybe you can decrease this, you can increase that, because there are so many things that we can work with to get the lease we want. And once that lease is signed, you're done for 10 to 15 years. One deal can change your life. I remember when I did the first deal, I couldn't believe myself. I couldn't believe it. It's like, okay, what else do I have to do? Nothing. As a matter of fact, the lease says, if the landlord wants to come to the property, please give us a 48-hour notice to not to interrupt the business. I don't want to go in the business. I just want the deposits. Thank you. Have a nice day. So, I mean, I do that and I do the rehab of luxury homes. The rehab of luxury homes, I got to deal with the contractor. I got to deal with the designer. I got to deal with the architect. And it's fun. It's very profitable. And I take that money and I buy properties, because your end goal is not to keep flipping or wholesaling or buying and selling or renting little ones. You want those big national tenants, when they sign that lease, what happens if they don't pay? You go after the corporate office and they have to buy the lease. They have to actually, they say, you can tell them, you signed for a 10-year lease. It's 100,000, it's 83.33 a month, times 12 is 100,000. With the increases, that right there is $1 million lease. You bought the building for $1 million. In 10 years, the tenant paid it off for you. But the day they sign the lease, it's worth $1.6 million. So you can refinance, cash out all your money. You will have endless streams of income with infinite rates of return because all your money's out. That's economic immortality. So anyway, I get too excited. What's the next question?
So Sharif, what would be the timeline do you see an average deal going through?
So to get the tenant to say, yes, I'm interested, here's my letter of intent, it takes about maybe 3 weeks. But for them to come into the property, it takes about 90 days to 4 months. And that's why I say when we get it under contract within 45 days. So let's say I'm working with a student and they get the property under contract. And the tenant responds and says, I'm very interested in this. I want to discuss the points. If that student doing a joint venture with me, of course, that's just a separate program. I wasn't going to talk about it in details, but the point is that person, if they're on their own or if they're working with me, will just get the letter of intent. Then they can actually close on the deal. If they're working with me, they can assign the property to me. They get paid based on the increase in value. And what happens is I then work with the tenant to finalize the lease. I closed on the property. And then we give them usually 2 to 3 months free rent. Sometimes we even give them TI, tenant improvements. Like I pay them, hey, listen, you need an extra 60,000 because you're changing the floor and the air conditioning units and you want to change the facade. Here is 60K. Now the rent is not going to be 8,300 a month. We're going to have to go to 9,300 a month. I literally advance them and then they pay me more. And when I do that extra money, tenant improvement, I just go to the bank and I say, look, I have this tenant coming in. They need 60K or 100K. The bank gives me a credit line. It's the lowest risk for the bank. So the time frame to answer your question is usually 90 days to 4 months to get them in, but the commitment is usually three weeks, sometimes less. It depends. Like I leased one time to Puma Corporation. From the time we talked to the time they signed was 9 days. You know,
Okay, so I think it's this Cass here. She said literally she's drove past 3 of these type of buildings in the last 2 days.
Oh my
And
God.
at the same time, I'm listening to you. I'm thinking all you're doing is being creative. You mentioned you can pay full price and with a little bit of creativity, increase this value. So it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of negotiations with the seller if, you're paying what he wants and you're getting that value, correct?
Yes, I don't always pay what they want unless what they want is such a steal of a deal that I want to move faster than anybody else that would see it. But to answer your question, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, this building, who are the neighboring tenants? If the neighboring tenants are strong, that's, if you will, the business proof for the other national tenants that are not here that they will come in. And I want to give you the concept of building an eye for it. So let's say tomorrow, when the weekend, which is Thursday. So on Saturday and Sunday, just go to the mall and go to the food court, or to just walk around the mall and start looking. Like when my kids were very young, I would walk with them and I would point out, hey, you see this? You notice this? This is Panda Express. See, they're right next to this Indian company that have this Indian food that keep expanding. And I go ask the Indian company, are you guys expanding? Oh yeah, we're just started a new concept. Now we're franchising, and it's we have so many corporate stores. And then you start to see who comes next to whom. And when you go see in the standalone buildings and you see empty spaces, you start thinking Panda Express will make a killing here because they like to be next to this Indian place. They like to be next to this other ice cream place. And now, when you call them, they're going to be interested. For example, on the West Coast, we have In-N-Out Burger. I know who they like to be next to. And I know specific tenants like Jamba Juice. Jamba Juice will pay me time and a half what the lease would go for if they're next to Starbucks. So as soon as there is a space next to Starbucks, I'm not, if Duncan, you're the seller, I'm not going to argue with you. You want 1.2? Yes, sir. I'll give you 1.2. I want to lock in the deal because I'm going to call Jamba Juice. I'm going to say, you come out, you're adjacent to Starbucks. And guess what they're going to say? We're paying you. Oh, but you know what? I want $15,000 a month. And they're going to say, okay, we'll pay it. We want a 15-year lease. So that's the beauty about how these guys build off of each other's power. And it's one of many concepts. I mean, I only have so much time with you here, but this is one of my favorite because truly, if you do one full deal from A to Z, you have a business model that you can repeat. If I take you out of Boston and drop you in Miami, you can do it. Take you out of Miami, drop you outside. I had a guy telling me, I'm in North Dallas, it's a small town. I don't know if I can do this. Sharif would love to do it. And I said, well, do people eat where you live? Yeah. Is there a McDonald's? Yes. Are there some single tenant vacant building? Oh yeah, there are a couple. I mean, come on, man. It's like.
I was amazed. I was actually reading that I was always curious why, if McDonald's goes in, why do you see a Wendy's or a Burger King or all these other similar sort of restaurants pop up? And I would think that's a bad thing next to it, but no, McDonald's and say Burger King sales have increased because of the power in that area, which kind of floors me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the concept, like somebody asked me once, why in the mall don't they just spread the food court and just have, instead of a food court, all the food places like every other retail, clothing, and then a food place if you're hungry? The idea is to put them all next to each other, because what ends up happening, you can say, oh, today I'm going to try the sushi, but tomorrow I want to go try this Korean food. This is interesting stuff. And that's just how it feeds on itself. And then you see all the retailers together, and then you see the jewelers in one corner. And that's just how it works in the retail world. And I got to know it well because it's just been so profitable. And just imagine, I'll put a multiplier on this. So people ask me, so if you're doing so well in California, why would you go all the way to Old San Juan, Puerto Rico? Because I went to Old San Juan for some tax incentive, because Puerto Rico is very aggressive in tax incentive. That's many, many years ago. It was 2004, 2003, something like this. And I realized the cruise ships arrive. So when the cruise ship arrives and drops people to start walking down the streets, the shopping is a bonanza. It's unbelievable. And I saw so many vacant buildings there in Old San Juan. I don't know how many of your tenants take cruises, but have taken cruises. Well, you should take cruises now. They're 50% off, right? But the thing is, I realized that the clientele is coming every day, and it's a new clientele. In a mall, the retailer is catering to a 3 to 5 mile radius. But in the cruise business, in the Caribbean and Key West, Florida, and certain destination location in the Northeast and in like Newport Beach, California, etc., you got you got people coming in that are different people every week or every weekend, etc. And I realize if I get the buildings under contract, I can charge top rent. I mean, the rent we charge there is $20,000 a month to many of these tenants. I have Coach, for example, paying $30,000 a month. They've been with me 16 years. I don't know, can you live on $30,000 a month? You know, just pay off one building. So, and why do they pay so much? Because there is constant traffic that comes in, constant new traffic, etc. So finding the good traffic, finding the good neighboring tenants. And if this person that's on the call saying, I found 2-3 properties, kind of take a look. You can join me. We're going to do a call on Saturday and I answer all kinds of questions. We have people putting apartment building deals and I tell the guy says, oh, it's so expensive. I don't know what to do. Well, you know what? Separate the building and sell the upstairs as separate condos. And when you sell them as individual condos, the profit you pay down the downstairs, you have a property free and clear. You used the problem of so expensive to your advantage by making it affordable for people to own individual units. You can do it in medical buildings. So these are the type of brainstormings that people have. You see, real estate, everybody can look at it. It's a blue building, but not everybody sees the same thing. I see an opportunity to separate it and sell the upstairs, keep the downstairs, like the hotel deal today. The one in the picture, I got a call today from the company that told me, we want to buy the whole building. I said, no, but you can buy the upstairs. Well, I bought the whole building at $3.5 million. And I just told the guy, if you want it, 3.7 million. And he's like, no, I'll give you 3 million. I'm a quick guy. I'll make a decision right now. I said, okay, 3.5, but you pay the closing. In other words, I bought the whole building with the retail downstairs at 3.5. I'm selling upstairs now at 3.5. And I'll keep the retail free and clear, getting me $15,000 a month. And I know I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to tell the bank, I want the credit line. I don't want the loan because it's going to cost me monthly, but I want the credit line. Now, you hear something like this, and now your brain functions at another level. Because now you're thinking, okay, wait. I saw this building that is mixed use. There is retail downstairs, upstairs, I can maybe get it, put Airbnb, make more money, sell it separate, keep the nut. Your brain starts on a whole different level. That's really how money is made. It's not just duplicating things, but creating new things. It's adding life to this thing, getting it to another level.
Okay, so I got another question here from Dana. Sharif, would this single tenant retail approach work for destination places?
Oh, for sure, for sure. And actually, destination places, you can also get, I'm going to branch out a little, what is mixed use properties. I don't know how to load it up. I was going to show you like my website. For example, I got this 12-unit apartment building in a destination location, and downstairs is retail. So I put a big ice cream company downstairs that pays $12,000 a month, and upstairs I turned the 12 units, it was an apartment building, into luxury Airbnb. We make in that building 1,000. Actually, I just got the numbers a little while ago. We make in that building $1,200 to $1,700 a day, just by changing the use from monthly rental to nightly. And to get a loan, by the way, when you have a mixed use with apartment building, to get these HUD loans that are actually, you can get a 40-year loan. So your payment is lower and interest is pretty good. So long as the retail portion is 40% or less of the total income, they will give you a very, very desirable loan. I mean, it's almost hard not to make money in this country if you understand that the country has programs that will work for you. I don't know of any other country that will give us loans like this. I mean, I have a place in Cancun. We spend a lot of time in Cancun. You go to Cancun, go to the bank and say, I want to buy this property. They say, okay, good luck. So can you give me the loan? No, we give you a credit card at 22%, but you go pay for real estate in cash. I mean, like, what? People cry. 5 or 6%, they're crying, pulling their hair. I mean, are you kidding me? So in the beginning, I suggest people finding these deals, put the pieces together, assign them, sell them, so you can get more cash. And then the third deal, or maybe the second deal, it depends on your financial situation, buy one and keep it. Because when you bring that tenant and all the pieces are together and they start paying you the rent, you can refinance, cash out your down payment. Why? Because the bank is not crazy, but the bank says, okay, I got a corporate guarantee. They're going to make you sign a letter that says you're going to assign the actual lease to the bank. So the payment from the tenant comes directly to the bank in your name and the bank, and is deposited. You get the payments made to them automatically, and the rest is yours. And you can refinance, then cash out. Their risk is so low. It's a beautiful structure.
Awesome. So it surprises me that that these food industries really are coming back strong, because COVID, what wasn't it scary at all for you at all? They continued to pay rent during the downturn, or were they just kitchens at that time? I mean, we did see a lot of commercial and businesses go out. And as Warren Buffett says, you got to buy when the market is, everybody's fearful. So could you give us some insight into what was going on? And
yeah, so what happened is a lot of the food tenants realized that they actually could operate very well through the drive-through and the Uber Eats and the delivery of food. So it became a bonanza for them. The model changed a little bit from smaller dining areas to bigger, what do you call, drive-throughs. If any of you right now, you're on the computer, Google new design Burger King, you will see immediately what will pop, and then click images. You'll see immediately that the new Burger King's having a double lane for the drive-through and smaller dining areas, because they realized, I don't need to have staff doing this. I can even automate a lot of the things with the staff, and I can have the drive-throughs. One drive-through will be for the Uber Eats and the pickup for the food. The other one will be for people coming from work or leaving to work. And they realized they have a better flow through on their operation and profits. And something really unbelievable started happening, where the big national tenants started trading numbers and explaining to each other in softwares, where you can tell somebody, I got a property in New Hampshire. Are you interested? And you're talking to, let's say, Arby's. Are you interested in that location? And Arby's on the phone, I mean, I've had Zoom calls with these people. On the phone, we'll look at it, say, okay, give me the address again. Okay, well, we have one of our other brands, because these companies are like part of like 13 brands under like Inspire. This company called Inspire have 13 sub brands. And they can see that their other company, Popeye, is selling 2 million a year in the location, maybe 4 blocks away. And they say, okay, we're very interested. And now they can actually tell us what they're interested in, what they're not interested in, what locations. So once you work your own backyard, like nobody has to come and tell me, oh, in Boston, you know how expensive it is in the greater Boston? I know, but if it's expensive, it's for a reason, because there is traffic, people will pay higher rent, and what's going to happen is they're going to sell more. So everything works proportionately adjustable to the areas. And what happened is during COVID, they made very good money, and they realize now that people are back out shopping and all going to Shake Shack and this, that the opportunity to grow is tremendous. So you have not only franchise growth, but corporate tenant growth. And I like the corporate because I want the corporate guarantee. If I'm growing with a franchisee, the franchisee is like a mom and pop operation. So unless they have 20 locations, which many of them have, believe it or not, I'm not too interested in franchisee. I want the corporate tenant, and the corporate tenant will come to the good locations based on what I'm sharing with.
I'm just amazed, that people don't want to go inside a restaurant anymore. They just want this drive-through thing. So, 2, 3, 4, lanes now, it's ridiculous. But that's what people are doing. So, could you say in? I mean, there's a lot of commercial buildings out there, but some definitely to stay away from. I mean, what would you stay away from?
It's hard to generalize like this, but I would tell somebody, don't get into something that's going to require more of your time than you can handle. Your goal is to buy something that gives you freedom, not gives you more responsibilities and hassles. So I look at these triple net type of buildings and I say, I'm going to buy it, like the Fat Tuesdays. This is a company that you may not know much about it, but they're in the hundreds of millions. Okay. And they open, they grow, and they have a couple of different concepts. Very strong balance sheet, great corporate guarantee. When they sign, I turned my back, I'm done. They have to go get the permit. They have to go fix the place the way they want. They want to go hook up these extra huge air conditioning units and stuff. It's all their business. I don't have to do anything else. But if you're going to get into something like assisted living facilities and you want to squeeze every penny and you don't know the liability you're getting into and you feel really bad when you see elderlies that are in those places, etc., maybe you're not set up for that. That you must avoid. So everything starts with the Socrates said, know thyself, know yourself. I like hotel business. I don't mind running hotels. I have a small hotel, 14 rooms in the Caribbean. The property I took it, they were barely making 25,000 a month in gross, spending a lot on the staff, etc. And the wife was fighting with the husband. I knew I could run it with the right people. I got the people, I trained them, I put them, got them the right tools. And next thing I know is I was able to get the property to perform at 60,000 a month. Now I could sell it or I could keep it. So I make the decision based on how many headaches I'm going to have. I don't have headaches. I have a great manager. If she leaves, I'm going to find another manager. So I know thyself. I can deal with that. The property that's a hotel that I said I can develop it, I started thinking, my God, do I want to deal with developing a property all the way in the Caribbean where the parts are more expensive and the contractors say I'm coming at 11, doesn't show up and stuff? And lo and behold, this guy calls me today and says, I looked at the property and we want to make a deal because there is some tax incentive for tourism. And I said, okay, let's talk. So avoid that which you cannot deal with or it's going to be too complicated. But if it's worth it, if you tell me, Sharif, I want to do developments because it's going to make a lot of money, like in Northeast and West Coast, you can do development, you're going to make money. But the learning curve, I suggest you get a partner or you work with somebody first, and that makes your journey a lot easier, a lot more tolerable. Because all investing starts with one thing, the assessment of risk. And if you can assess the risk, which part of it is your time and effort, you're going to be able to make it happen. Incrementally, you're going to get to your goal. I did the first deal. It was great. Second deal, better. Third deal, oh my gosh, it grew so big. I said, I'm going to set up a real estate fund. People came and joined me. Then I said, I'm going to train my students to do joint ventures, find the deal, assign them to me. Hey, you find the deal at $1 million. We lined up a tenant. I will negotiate the letter of intent with you on the phone, and it's going to go to $1.6 million. That's $600,000. I'm going to give you $60,000. All you did is made some phone calls, used my proof of fund, used my system, used my tenant list, and I did the conversation with the tenants to actually close them on the letter of intent. And you're going to get 60,000 on that 600,000 increase, provided we got them on a 10-year lease. If they get 15-year lease to sign, which many of them want to do that now because there is inflation, so they're afraid to increase the lease a lot. 15-year lease, I pay on the upside 25% on the upside to the student. So on that 600,000, they'll walk away with $150,000 with no downside to them. There's no downside to the individual because you put 5,000 earnest money deposit that's refundable. You're using my proof of fund. If the broker want to call me, they call me to verify, yes, I am the fund owner. I'm filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. You can see it on the sec.gov for 12 years. We've done hundreds of millions in deals. So I give that person the legitimacy and the power to do the deal, and they get an assignment fee. And no downside, because if you start smiling and dialing for 45 days, you still can't get one tenant interested. You just call the broker, say, I'm sorry, the deal is not for me. Please refund me. They must refund you the $5,000 that you put in. And why would they accept $5,000 only on $1 million deal? Because you're showing proof of fund with millions of dollars and you're saying the deal is going to be done with this real estate fund. And the offer is made with your name and or Mixif LLC. So I have it down to a science now. I mean, it just, but let's start one step at a time. How about we start like this? May I tell your audience how we do it?
Yes,
So-
please go right ahead.
So this Saturday, every second Saturday of the month, I do a call, and you can come in on the call, and it's each month. It's a Zoom call, so people come in right exactly like this, but it will be my call, and people will ask questions. They send the questions the day before to Nancy or to Ashley. Ashley's my VP. Nancy, handles the calls and all this, and every month we work on talking about the deals that you have. And if you don't have a deal, listen to what other people have. And if the other person is doing something in apartment buildings, learn it, listen to it. The principles are practically the same all over this type of business. And if you're interested in that, you can call my office, 720-1031, or just email Nancy at cmrei.com, which is Sharif Medawar Real Estate Investing, cmrei.com. And I'll show you how to structure the deal. The money is made in the strategy and the structure. Then you will understand what the system is all about. So I took questions. I repeat to you, Nancy at cmrei.com. Those who are interested, we get on these calls. I show statistics. I show what we're doing. I take the calls. People are right on the call with me, asking the questions every month, second Saturday. And for those who are ready to get started, those who want to do this, I'm going to give you some bonuses that will blow your mind away. So I told you, in the past, I've done trainings that are what's called commercial real estate roundtable. We put people in roundtables in live events, and I film. Everything I do is filmed. And we talked about apartment buildings, how to find them, analyze them, control them, what to negotiate, how to negotiate it, where to get the best loans for them, where to get the best deal, how to time the process, how to raise capital for these, etc. Same for storage facilities, hospitalities, land development, senior living, office and medical buildings, retail, eco-friendly building, how that can take you to another level totally, mobile home parks and RV parks, warehouses and industrial, which is a big segment growing right now, parking garages, a lot of money in parking, nobody teaches it, gas stations. And those who will join me tonight, I'm going to actually give you that training for free. You will be getting the commercial real estate pro mastermind, which usually would charge $3,000. I'm going to give it to you for $995. And I'm going to include, so for $1,000, you're going to have the monthly calls. You're going to have the deal analysis. If you have deals, you ask me on the calls. It's live. We make it happen. You're going to be able to network with the other students right there, asking questions. Sometimes they want to answer each other because somebody else had a situation like it. So I open it for people to brainstorm. You're going to get the starter kit, which I'll tell you about it. I'm going to give you a 3-day class that I taught, that you're going to get the video of it. And a lot of the legal documents that I have, the checklist, like I have a 100-point checklist for commercial buildings. You will see this. I have 40 years experience in this. And let me tell you, the 12 different type of commercial properties, you're going to have access to university. The commercial real estate roundtable course is all yours. You're going to actually get access to it. That event was $34.95. You can Google, you can see what I've done in the past. You can see I have over 2,000 video success stories on YouTube. Just put my name. You don't have to listen. There is no education company in the US has so many success stories. I've been up and running 22 years nonstop. Other people come in, rebrand, go bankrupt. That's not my game. I have no interest in making money from the seminars. I have interest in making money from doing these, understanding what's out there and what's going on. So you're interested in this, I'm giving you the bonus. This alone is more than the value of the $1,000 you'll pay for the whole communication directly with me. Excuse me, my son went running behind. So it's the commercial real estate roundtable. You will have that. I'll give you bonus number 2 is how I set up my fund, how I raise capital, why I was able to raise capital. How do we have over 100 million in assets, where I have investors that have stayed with me for over 12 years. I trained many of the gurus that now try to teach these things. I was training these people in 2007. You could see some clips on YouTube where I had more hair. And I teach syndication. I teach how to actually set up your own fund. And if people want to set up their own funds, we do it. We help the people do it. And I have a process to teach people. I follow, it's called the DCBA. I start with the word definition. I assume you don't know anything about the world of raising capital. I start with the word definition. Then I start with the concept, how to raise money, why we raise money, why the SEC approves it, how is it regulated by the government, and who to raise money from, what to tell them, and how to disclose it, to do it properly, and to be able to grow ethically, profitably, and safely. And then I explain the business model, what to do first, second, third. People want a process to be able to grow, and then how to take action to succeed. You don't want to get overwhelmed. You want to start with one thing at a time, but understand what's out there and then make your move. You do one deal, you understand how other people are doing the deals. Now you make money, go set up your fund, because you can grow beyond your time, money, and opportunity for credit. Because once you set up a fund, it's a multiplier. So those who wants to do this, I'll give you the commercial real estate investing quick start kit. Commercial real estate advanced deal making virtual training, which is 20 hours of training that I've done live, which is one of the most successful trainings. The checklist and resources, you'll get access to all this. You have the replays for the past 17 months we've been doing these training calls. You can access them. The calls, by the way, have no limit. Like I assume it's going to be an hour, but every call ended up being an hour and a half to 2 hours because I answer all the calls on these Saturdays. And you will have for the $9.95 12 months for these mastermind calls, and starting in a couple days. You will have the next Zoom training, which is the call on July 9th. Please write it down, July 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will get the raising capital videos, syndication, joint venture, how I do the joint ventures, how I do partnerships, etc. You'll have a 1-year access to my commercial real estate roundtable, which is a phenomenal training. Actually, that training is, I call it the most comprehensive commercial real estate training in the world. You will not find a training like it, teaching you what websites to go to find the best deals by government and all this by type of property, how to analyze the numbers in any neighborhood, how to actually analyze numbers of any type of property, what due diligence you need for every single type of property. And it's a module that you could, for each part, you're going to pass a little test to go to the next part. So it's really pretty interesting. And we even have a module for Airbnb. My background also is hotels. So I have a whole segment on hotels, which really takes it to another level. I love hotel businesses, extremely profitable if you know what you're doing. And you combine that with Airbnb is just phenomenal. So when you see the value of what I've done, and I'm even calculating these at the lower part where we sell them online, but I'm giving it all to you here included. The value is about $5,000 and you can have it at $9.95. And by the way, after the first call, if you don't like this call on Saturday, when we're done with the call, you can email the office and say, I don't like it. We'll refund you the full $9.95. I don't want to keep anybody's money. Nobody's going to come on the calls unhappy. This is not how I built 2,000 plus video success stories. You don't believe it? Go online, put on YouTube, and you will see the success stories, what people say, how much money they made, etc. So that's what it's all about. Mastermind groups and brainstorming and taking your game to another level or starting your game. I don't know where you are, but I assume if you're part of what Duncan is doing, you're already in the game. I've heard Sarah talk earlier, and it's all good stuff, you guys. So if you want to take it to another level, I'm here for you. And you have that saving for 2,000 tonight, which I told Duncan is going to be an amazing offer, and hopefully I met his expectations.
Sharif, yeah, you keep blowing me away every time I speak to you. I mean, I just love your creativeness and how to increase value. And there are so many different areas in commercial that you can go into. I did want to ask a question for myself on this one, is because I travel a lot, and I actually gave up on the Airbnb model to switch back to hotels just because I feel that I'm getting probably a little, because I'm a solo traveler, I'm getting probably a better value now with hotels than I am with the excessive fees Airbnb is charging. Can you comment what you see going on in the Airbnb market and trends versus hotels there?
Okay, great. I think hotels have a lot of opportunities because they're mispriced right now. But because it's an unusual and very specific type of asset, many people are unfamiliar how to operate hotels. But the beauty about buying a hotel is, like, I'm looking at a hotel right now and it comes with 16 people, staff members. So I'm buying it with the staff. How beautiful is this? Now, if you also know how to understand the market, because there are some specific reports you can buy for a hotel, there is something called the STAR report, Smith Travel Research Report. That report gives you how that hotel is doing in a specific market, because they all report to this company. This company creates charts and pies and shows you each hotel, how they're doing in a specific market. So when you're buying a hotel or operating a hotel, you can see your market potential. Airbnb does not have all these numbers yet. Airbnb is very market specific. I was in Tampa and I was trying to sleep one night next to the airport. And I said, wow, I had my kids and I said, we need 3 rooms. I can't get a hotel with 3 rooms. So I'm going to have to get an Airbnb. That's where Airbnb shine. But then I started looking and I saw one that was $150. I thought, oh, that's great. 150 next to the airport in Tampa. I need to be there for one night with the kids. So I click and it shows like 300 some. I'm like, I go back screen and I look, I realized that the cleaning fee was 125. So I emailed the host. I said, there must be a glitch. How can you charge almost the same for the cleaning? And the guy answered, I can't get any cleaner. I don't think you'll find anybody charging less than me. I'll give you $100 for the cleaning. I'll be losing money. And it's like the guy's trying to negotiate with me. We ended up believe it or not, we ended up getting 2 hotel rooms, which was cheaper than having one Airbnb. And the thing is, Airbnb is market specific. So you have to know that market and have something special. So I am in Old San Juan with my Airbnb. I'm the largest Airbnb operator in Old San Juan. There is such scarce supply in Old San Juan. I have 54 units. So we're making a killing because I am the market. I increase rates, the few competitors increase rates. I drop rates, and it's not so expensive to operate, but it's very profitable because people pay top dollars when they're families. So look at, if you want to do Airbnb kind of / hotel, look for apartment buildings that are 30 rooms or less in destination locations and see how much it will make you by converting a couple of the units and see how it goes. And it goes well, do what I did with the 12 units. I went to 12 units and it's the best thing I have ever done. I could have done with the long-term 35,000 a month on the apartment side. Now I'm doing 60,000 a month. Just to give you an example of how incredible it is as Airbnb. Very market specific. And by the way, a couple more things on Airbnb. You can, if you think of Airbnb, it's 2 really main things. One is the revenue management. And the second one is the housekeeping operation. That's really your house. The operation is housekeeping. So there are some housekeeping companies that you can hire. And believe it or not, there are some companies that will do the revenue management. So I always look at, if I outsource and step back, how much will I lose and how much will I be netting? Because if I'm willing to net less to scale, because I prefer to have 10 units and make less, a little bit less on each, because I have 10 now, I am the market, then have 5 and I'm working my heart out. And you're calling me and I'm like, I gotta take a call. I gotta run. Oh my God, who's talking to me? I can't do it. No. You gotta have a life. Your goal is to be free, not to have more responsibility. And on your way to freedom, you're going to have that imbalance and the frustration and all this. It's just a part of life. He who doesn't want to suffer will never see happiness. As a matter of fact, happiness comes through the suffering. At the end, you reach happiness. Even if you look at love, right, and romance, there is the heart and there is Cupid with the arrow, because even love hurts. So come on, you're going to have to suffer a little to get to the next goal.
Awesome. Sharif, could you talk briefly about the Puerto Rican tax incentives? Could one set up a structure there and run their operations in the U.S. out of Puerto Rico? I know a lot of people are moving there and they got some pretty good programs.
Okay, so Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Puerto Ricans are citizens of the U.S. They're residents of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico maintained certain independence regarding Hacienda. So the tax authority in Puerto Rico, even though everything is US, you arrive, there is no passport or anything, they have Hacienda, while we in the US have IRS. IRS and Hacienda are like sister companies, same social security. You go to the bank, you open a bank account, same social security, FDIC, FBI, the whole thing is US. It's actually more US than Miami, if you ask me, when you're in San Juan. But what they realized is that to attract people and improve the economy there, they needed to create tax incentives. Because they have a different tax authority for taxes, Congress allowed them to create incentives. In 2012, they created tax incentives. And they said, if you relocate to Puerto Rico, so you have to, unfortunately, must move your business to Puerto Rico. Some people say, well, I can't move. Unfortunately, you have to move. Or maybe fortunately, you have to move because it's a nice place. So you'll have to take residence there. Now, the requirement of residence there per IRS code 933 is you must spend 183 days on the island and then the rest of the year in the US. You would be considered resident. When you're resident, so when you arrive there, you have to apply for what's called Act 60. You apply to the government and say, I would like to be resident here. You will buy a property within 2 years. and remove your residency from the United States. You'll have to have your driver's license there, social connections there. There are 3 tests: spending the time there, etc., and invest in Puerto Rico some of your money. What happens is whatever income is derived from Puerto Rico comes to you tax-free. Yes, I said tax-free. Unheard of for a US citizen on planet Earth. The only place a US citizen can get tax-free income and capital gains tax-free is if you're a resident of Puerto Rico and the money comes from Puerto Rico. So let's say you have a bunch of apartment buildings or retail buildings or hotels in the US, and you want to move to Puerto Rico because you're paying a lot of taxes. You'll apply for Act 60. When you get the Act 60, the government approves you, check your background, etc. You will set up a management company in Puerto Rico, and it will manage your operations in the US. So the money comes to the management company, and it becomes income dividend from Puerto Rico, sourced income, and the income becomes tax-free. They're going to change the law next year. They're going to make it taxable maybe up to 15%. We're not sure yet, but come on. I mean, in California, when I flip properties, the taxes could be 50%. So 15 is still an amazing amount. So, but to answer your question, you must be a resident of Puerto Rico. I think you went to.
Oh yeah, so I mean I love Puerto Rico, and I'm glad it's come back from the hurricane for the most part. A little bit of crazy traffic there, but downtown San Juan and historical center, it's just gorgeous, and you know, Puerto Rico is stunning.
Actually, it's the fastest growing market right now, and I don't know if you know. You can Google this. It has the cleanest climate air in the world. It is the fastest growing market. The Dorado. For example, Dorado properties now, they used to sell for 2.6 million to 5 million. Right now is 15 million to 30 million. The billionaires have so many private jets landing that there is a wait at the airport for the private jet areas. It's unbelievable. It's what's been happening there is beyond belief. But thank God, I seen that when I was in 2003, 4, 5. I realized this area is just very unique. Great weather, unbelievable people, great everything. I mean, I love it there. I don't spend all my time there because I spend a lot of time in California, or if I do some events, we're going to do some live events. Are you doing live events? I heard you saying something. You're doing live events?
We'll start up later on this year, just contracting with hotels, rehiring staff. So a bit of a process after this whole COVID shutdown, and you know, a lot of these hotels, Boston specifically was a little bit, you know, very, very conservative in their approach. They only released the mask mandate at the end of April.
Yes.
So, yeah, you know, but being virtual has been a blessing because, you know, we've been getting people from all over Massachusetts and other, you know, states surrounding us, you know, joining us now instead of, you know, live events, because again, Boston traffic sucks too, and trying to get rushed to a 7 o'clock meeting is rough. So, you know, the virtual approach still works. And you know, we have the networking going on the entire meeting in the chat, which is great. So you know, we're still strong. We're still the 5th largest RIA in the country.
Yes.
So yeah, so you know, happy. I'm trying to crack the code to get the #1, but you know, LA is huge, Chicago is huge. So, but I got to tell you, Sharif, there is a ton of money out there. I mean, there's, I keep saying this all the time, you know, you should never have to worry about money. And plus now that you have a fund well, you've had your fund, you have a fund with your program to help students. That's fantastic. I just think alone, the value is in the QSR. You know, I mean, there's tons of value, but wow. And you're giving the QSR list too. And you're going to be talking to them. I mean, gosh, you know, you're really making people who join with you, his life very, very, very simple. So,
yeah, so you know, people don't have to think in terms of $10 million or whatever. Start with a small deal. You can actually, whatever you're working on, bring these calls on Saturday, ask the questions, listen to how I answer the questions, how I structure the deals. And then if you like these calls and you want to go to the next level where you can do the joint venture program, we can talk to you about the joint venture program. You want to go to I don't know, you want to set up your own fund, we can tell you what attorneys to go to. We can help people go. It's like one step at a time. You don't have to eat the elephant with one bite. Everybody started small and then started growing. But that's the beauty about real estate, is once you're ready to grow, unlike the past where you could only grow by leveraging, getting loans from the bank, today you can grow by setting up a syndication where you can raise capital and have people show them, look, I've done these couple deals. Are you interested in doing deals like this? Yeah. Would you like to put some money with me? And once you're legitimate and you're filed with the proper authorities for the United States, you can raise unlimited amounts of money and do it the right way.
Yeah, doing it the right way is very, very important.
Yeah.
I know getting that SEC approval was a long process, probably a little bit expensive process, but knowing that they can still come to you for, is another way to do it. They could always send investors to you to take part in the deal, correct?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we have worked that in the past, and we've done many types of structures. So long as it's blessed by my in-house attorneys, we move forward.
Awesome.
So thank you for meeting everyone here, and I appreciate. I hope you learned something from me. I hope I was able to share something of value.
Okay, I just also again once put in there, guys, if you're going to buy this online, the normal price is $2,995 through the Boston REIA and my association with Sharif. He's dropped that $2,000 right off the top to $995. His motive is not to make money on the course, but to get you involved so he can make money with you. He's thrown in a whole heck of a lot of bonuses to help you. I've known Sharif for a long time. And every time I talk to him, like I say, I'm just amazed at the creativity of how adding value to properties and the way he's doing it makes deals happen. So, the many different aspects from commercial to multifamily to social to self-storage to hotels. He's been in the game, I think it's 40 years now, eh?
Yes, it's been a long time. I started
It's been a long time.
Yes.
So
Started on a head elevator.
yeah, you can Google them, like 1,000% legit, the funds SEC. So you do your own do your diligence. It's there. The link is there. We'll be leaving it up through the week for that special offer. The next call coming up with Sharif and his team is the July 9th, you said? No,
Yep.
July 9th.
Yeah, in 2 days, Saturday, yes.
Awesome. And they are recorded. So guys, once again, the link and the Boston REIA does make a little bit of money from that because that's how we keep ourselves going, plowing it back into the association to provide you with better services. Guys, thank you very much. And I see somebody just said Cocktail Connections, real estate event on the 20th at Six String Grill and Stage. You got an invitation to attend that too. So thank you very much, Sharif. I'm going to let you go.
All right.
Guys, thank you for attending tonight's meeting. We're right on a little bit, 5 minutes before the money. So any last questions, now's your chance. Please remember, download the chat. If you just go scroll to the top, scroll to the bottom, copy, paste it in your Word document, and you'll have people's names in there. So if you haven't put your information in there, what you have, need, or want, please do so. Networking with like-minded investors is going to be for your benefit. Sharif said you got to surround yourself with successful people. You got to get to a mentor that can take you to the next level. It took many years, for Sharif, myself, to figure out how to do this ourselves ages ago. And the only way we get better is by going to somebody better than us and shortcutting the process. He has done all that for you. He's been written about in magazines and with Steve Forbes on TV, et cetera. So he's authored a book. Like I say, use Google, this is no brainer. I don't know. I should mention, is there any guarantee,
I don't like it. After the 2 hours we'll spend on Saturday, full refund, no problem.
There you go, guys. He's basically giving you the opportunity to listen in for 2 hours and you get a full refund if you don't like what you hear. So I think that's a great offer. So please take advantage of it. We do this here for you. And without any more convincing, I see a few people have already taken up on the offer. That's great. Thank you. And Sharif, I look forward to catching up with you somewhere in the world again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All the best, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Bye-bye. And we're going to be signing off from Boston RIA. Again, membership is Kelly at either 864-906-4111. And she will text you and call you back and get your membership going. It's well worth it, and the money you're going to save, the discounts you get from Home Depot, from Office Depot, from insurance rates, etc. So again, that's 864-906-4111. It's in the chat. Last chance to hopefully everybody copied and pasted that. And next month, we're going to be talking about how to better manage, how to pick up houses subject to the existing mortgage. A little used technique to take over properties. Mike Butler from Kentucky will be joining us. So that's going to be a good one. So make sure you watch our website and our newsletter for more information about that. If you are a business who would like to advertise with Boston RIA, please just reach out to us at bostonria@gmail.com, and I can give you all the details in regards to becoming a vendor. And you can actually get on every call and tell people what you do have to offer. And we have advertising on our website, etc. So just email us, give us a call, help your business grow. And with that, thank you very much for joining, and have a great evening and a good weekend coming up.
Thank you, Duncan. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Sarah. Thank you for helping out today. Bye, Hannah. Good seeing you. Thank you, Hannah. Kelly wasn't able to join us tonight. Neither were Walter and Dorina, but they will be back next month. So they do a much better job than I do on Zoom. So they'll be back next month.
You did excellent. You did
Thank
excellent.
you.
Really.
Had to remember how to work Zoom. Okay.
Mastered it. You really
right.
did.
All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. Have a
See
good
you.
evening. I'll be ending the meeting now. I will place in a couple of days, I will have the replay available for you to listen to.
Awesome. You're the best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.